It's raining here in Punta del Este. Then Awful Catfish is on pole from Revo and You Are Puff. Then it's Sebastian Ocampo starting in fourth from Remy LeBeau and the Red Devil. Nico Palomino is seventh from Linus Eriksson and Dakari Lopez. And to round out the top 10, Daniel Bogdasarov. Outside of it, you've got Nelson from Oinkro Ezra, then Lawrence Clerk and Oscar Falstad. Then it's Charles Hernandez starting 15th from U Cable and Enoch Yu. Skassel and Rozak starts 18th from Salos Kynes and Ian Babinus Jr. Then it's the back row of Francis Austin and Devin Butler. And for the 15th round of the championship, we return to Uruguay. Catfish on pole, all 5 lights go on. And we are underway in season 26's 15th round, and that's a brilliant start from the Power Motorsport man of Awful Catfish, but a better start from the 7 of Revo, coming through 1, and oh my goodness, that's one of the Jaguars! The Red Devil getting a time penalty and going airborne as well, going through 1, he's got damage and he's dropped down the order. Revo getting the perfect start though, he leads coming out of turn 3. But my goodness me, that was terrible to see. Akari Lopez with a good start as well, up to P7 from the start. But this is the main issue. Remy LeBeau into the wall with major damage for the number 27 Red Bull Sims car. And Linus Eriksson also off the road behind him. Yellow's in sector 2. What a terrible opening lap for those two. Certainly involved in that incident that we saw at the race start with the Red Devil. Honestly, a terrible start for those 3 drivers. But aside from that, a relatively clean start as they rise ready to go round turn number 1 again. On board we are with car 7 as he begins lap number 2 here in Uruguay. And it's a track limits warning for Nico Palomino in 5th position, searching for that first Formula E race win. Meanwhile, further back, that's the Red Devil off into the wall and hits by Lars Leclerc. Lucky that there wasn't, you know, that sort of ERL trademark pile-up as in come the back 2. Remy LeBeau and Linus Eriksson. Their race is effectively over before it even got going. Revo is about to come through sector 3 now. 1 second in front of Catfish. The Red Devil's off again as he is. And more contact further back. Major front wing damage for the 52 of Charles Hernandez as well. These wet conditions around a track that's usually so fast in the dry, that adds that little sprinkling of jeopardy. And look at that. Remy LeBeau and Linus Eriksson, they're about 40 seconds off the leading pack. The top guys going off the track close to the wall for You Are Puff. They have tried to push the wall back down at turn 1, but we're still unsure on how well those track modifications have really worked. Nelson's gone off the track as well as that, and oh, that's major damage for the Red Devil as well as Charles Hernandez. We expect both of them to come into the pits. In comes the 99 and in comes the 52 as well. So like I said with Remy and Eriksson, if you're pitting in these wet conditions and you're not going onto the inters or dry compound tyres, your race is effectively sealed shut. For Revo, who came into this race with a 10-point advantage over Daniel Bogdasarov, that gap is about to increase. And Remy getting a track limits warning. I think that's Hernandez out of the pits, is it? We've already got lap traffic on lap 4. Ocampo getting a second track limits warning of the day as You Are Puff just goes past him. You see, the teams, they don't expect lap traffic this early on into the race. It's also great to have Ocampo back in the field for this round so we can see some more of that trademark double champion activity. But when you're in the wet and there's so much traffic, it's hard to comprehend as Palomino getting a 5-second time penalty. That's a collision with the Red Devil there. And the 99 not getting out of the way. 5 seconds is now the margin between first and second. That is the effect of lap traffic this early on in the race. 19th through 22nd are all a lap down effectively. And Remy getting a second track limits. He is really fumbling the bag over nothing. And we've got yellows in sector 3. Oh no! Oinkro Ezra hit by the Red Devil. And for the second time this race, the Red Devil caught up into an accident which in my opinion, really not his fault. And that's a caution. 2 cars out. That's Rotak and UK Ball, both out of the race. And we have a caution. Well, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. We had 4 cars involved in their own separate incidents before this. Expected to see a caution at some point in this race. Didn't expect it to be around lap 5. Ezra with front wing damage. And full course cautions ending. It's lap 5 of 17 in round 15. And we get back under the green flags. Remy LeBeau rounding the final corners. And he's got, oh, that's the Red Devil holding up quite a bit of the field there with all that damage. Lap 6 of 17. On board we go with car 7 in Revo. And yeah, this is really a very interesting opening set of laps. In terms of moves for position, we haven't seen too many. Here's Marcus Nelson dueling away with Bogdasarov, moving up into 7th in front of the Renault Edams man. But this rain, it doesn't seem to be clearing up. It's very hard to see in these conditions, and you've got a lot less grip due to all of that water on the track. Makes your braking distances longer, which is why you see a lot more incidents like we've already seen. And we've got yellows in Sector 1. Is that for Ezra? I think it might be. Was it? No, it wasn't. Someone's falling down the order, though. Is that Salos Kynes? It is. Salos Kynes with damage. And is that... who are they following there? I can't tell. The Red Devil coming in for a second stop. Kynes getting a track limits warning. Behind him is Francis Austin. Who's behind him? Is that Remy LeBeau? Who is that? Is that Hernandez then? No. Is it? I think it might be, yeah. Charles Hernandez was the car behind. There's the Red Devil coming out of pit lane, and who is that? That's Falstad! Big wreck for Oscar, hit by an OQ and forced off the track effectively by the man from Hong Kong. They're flying the green flags. That's Babinis Jr. somehow lifts enough to not get hit. We've got yellows in Sector 1, and a full course caution as out of the race goes Falstad. Big shunt down there, and an OQ went off the track in that number 25 car. Full course yellows are out as Kynes comes in to fix that front wing. And for Revo, in fact, for the top 4, they have not been involved in any of this. They've just been driving their own race, keeping it calm and cool and collected, and everything that you need to win a race like this. So as they go on now to begin lap number 8, Revo leads from Catfish and Puff. I think Revo might have actually won this race on the opening lap. We've had 2 cautions so far, but a lot more yellow flags. And there's Ezra and his front wing, all broken on the left side. Shouldn't be too much of an issue coming through 1. We go on board with the 47. Okay, he does lose quite a bit of downforce doing through turn 1 with the issues with the front wing, of course. In comes an OQ into the pits. And yeah, you can see him getting a little bit of air, but nothing too major. It'll slow him down. Devin Butler also got quite a bit of damage. 10-second time penalty as well. He was the one who collided with Falstad. And the Red Devils actually gotten past Oscar as well. Remy LeBeau up into 13th position now, trying to stage a comeback through the field. Doubt he's going to get points unless a lot more wrecks happen. We're on to lap 9 of 17. And you know, Punta del Este, there's been a lot of punting here. And who is that? That's an OQ. An OQ holds up. You are Puff there. And this is what lap traffic looks like. Akari Lopez is going to move up into 4th. And Ocampo drops down to P6. That'll be P5 when all the penalties are applied. Okay, never mind. Ocampo not being able to get past an OQ. And who is that? That is Bogdasarov. Now, sandwiched by 2 lap cars. This is really not like any other race that we've seen in the ERL. This is this is really unique. In the modern ERL, this is not the type of racing that we've seen in quite some time. We've got 7 laps to go. It hasn't been dry at any point in this race. When it does go dry, expect a lot of slipping and sliding as teams decide on what time is the right time to go onto the dries. And that is Salos Kynes on the back of Revo. And Salos, well, he's just kind of giving him a bit of a push now, isn't he? Revo definitely not pushing in any fast laps. He's already got the fastest lap. And I think the main reason as to why he's not trying anything different is because he doesn't need to. He's leading the race by quite some margin. So even if he were to hit a wall and cause a yellow, shouldn't be too much of a major incident. Here is Linus Eriksson on the back of Remy LeBeau. The last car's on the lead lap here, because 15th down to 19th, all a lap down. And I think in the case of the Red Devil, might be actually 2 laps down. 6 to go from Uruguay. And with Bogdasarov down in 8th, this is going to be a major point swing in terms of the championship. Revo, the man going for his 5th ever ERL Series championship. You know, he's already the best driver on the field in terms of World Drivers' Championships won. And it's just hyperdrive racing. Outside of their Ace Championship division, they have actually been flying in recent times. They've just taken their 2nd consecutive US ERL Series championship. And now they're about to return to both championships in Formula E. And that's just something that a lot of the people who've been working there for so long are going to be very excited to hear, that they've gone ahead and gotten their 7th Drivers' Championship in Formula E. We're on to lap 12 of 17 in OQ, with a track limits warning further back. We're on board with car number 25 rather. The 27 is Remy LeBeau up in 14th position. And Inoki fighting with Butler, and I think his teammates actually held up the Mahindra there to actually help him get past. It does seem to be lightening up a little bit with the rain. The 2 Renault drivers now going side by side, 16th and 8th respectively, and Inoki having to respect the blue flags there, which is something that we actually haven't really seen too many drivers been doing. Meanwhile, Austin holding up Charles Hernandez. I think these two have worked together in the IndyCar series when it was called that. 4 to go, and yes, it does seem to be drying up. From what we can tell, the intermediate tyres might actually be a worthwhile tyre choice at this stage, but I think a lot of the teams might just be waiting for it to go completely dry. There's still a lot of spray, so it's not very visible. The ERL are considering bringing back the wheel fins, but there you go, the rain has actually stopped. Some of these teams might consider going onto dry compound tyres soon, because there's no rain. The track is still very wet. But yeah, there you go. It is dry now. The floodlights are still out. It's still wet. The rear of the car is still flashing red, and there's still spray. But for all intents and purposes, the rain has stopped. The track's going to start drying up again. And in these last 4 laps, I think a lot of positions are going to change hands in terms of when and if they decide to pit. And Kynes still on the back of Revo. And those... Oh, that's Butler further back with a time penalty, as into the pits comes Palomino, Ocampo, Bogdasarov, all coming in at the end of their 13th lap. Not the best pit exit for Ocampo, getting held up by the Red Devil of all drivers, who's coming for his 3rd stop. And Ocampo's going to come out behind Bogdasarov, but in front of Nico Palomino. And attack mode's come online now. Attack mode is online. That's going to help Ocampo get past Daniel Bogdasarov, heading down into turn 4. Oh, that's a lot of weaving for Sebastian. Touching grass and spinning up the rears quite a bit. Remy staying out here. A lot of drivers, and this is what I was talking about. It's all about when you decide to pit onto the dries, but I think this is the moment. It is dry now. Out there. Yeah, Revo's coming to the pits. Race leader Revo down into pit lane. It's all hands on deck down in the pits. Catfish is coming into the pits as well from second on the road. Where are the leading pack of drivers who have come in for the slicks? Bogdasarov leading Ocampo and Palomino. Can they find themselves leading this race? No. Revo has just come out of the pits. Catfish has come out, and I think You Are Puff has just come out of the pits as well. So as they barrel down through the final corners, I think Bogdasarov, Ocampo and Palomino, they're going to be behind Akari here. That's an OQ holding up his teammate. And yes, Bogdasarov 6th from Ocampo and Palomino. Rear wings open for these two though. An attack charge in use for Palomino as well. Can he go for 7th position? Not going through turn 3. Not going through turn 3 at all. You know, that wet stage of this race, the opening phase of this race, very hectic, very chaotic. Afterwards, it's just a waiting game of when it's going to go dry and if you can make moves in these conditions at all. But it's all dried up now. Off the track went Francis Austin there after coming out of the pits. And Remy LeBeau stages the comeback, comes out of the pits in 14th. And Salos Kant will be the last man to dive down into the pits. As it's a 5-second time penalty for Revo. Track limits at turn 1. He's got a 7-second lead to the cars behind. You Are Puff with a time penalty. Nelson with a 3rd track limits warning. This is what a lot of drivers were fearing when it got dry again. Would we see time penalties abundant? And it seems like it will be that. And Akari Lopez is ready to get back onto the podium. Side by side with Marcus Nelson. And moving up into 4th on the road. That'll become 3rd as the time penalty is applied. 2nd track limits warning for Oinkro Ezra, the 47 car for Dragon Racing. Austin getting a track limits warning as well. But we go on to the final lap here in Punta del Este, Uruguay. The points leader Revo with a 3rd track limits warning. Again, Nelson with a 5-second time penalty for track limits as he's going side by side. Bogdasarov has a time penalty. Palomino with a time penalty as well. Akari getting forced off the road. And Ocampo going through 1 has the opportunity to move up the order. But for this man Revo, if he can keep it clean now, he's got the win in his hands. 0.2 of a second. Catfish is flying. Can the man who started this race on pole try and reel back that race lead? We'll know when the checkered flag falls. But for Revo, who came into this race with a 10-point lead, he'll extend it in the championship. Revo will come around the final corner, not get penalized, and will win here in Punta del Este with the fastest lap of 53.8 off the track for You Are Puff there, as he will come to the line 3rd on the road. But a brilliant day in the office for Pinnacle Motorsport. They secure P3, and it was 8/10 at the end of the day that secured Revo's win. Hernandez 2 laps down. Is the Red Devil 3 laps down? I mean, we saw drivers 2 laps down in the final round of last season. Could we see that again today when the Red Devil comes across the line? Or is he just lapped by everyone twice? Off the track for Ezra, 3rd track limits warning. And yeah, no, 2 laps down for the Red Devil as Ericsson comes to the line. Linus Eriksson secured the fastest lap on that final lap, but this is your podium. 3 champions who were around to see the 2nd start to the ERL Formula E Series. Revo taking victory here in Punta del Este from Awful Catfish and Akari Lopez. Could Akari find himself with a career resurgence heading into season 27? As for the rest of your finishers, You Are Puff is 4th from Marcus Nelson and Sebastian Ocampo. Bogdasarov came home with 6 points in 7th, and he's lost 19 points, so he will be leaving it 29 down on Revo. Palomino is 8th from Inet Babinis Jr. and Lawless Leclerc running out the top 10. Outside of it, Oinkro Ezra 11th from Francis Austin and Linus Erickson. Then it's Remy LeBeau, Devin Butler, Enoch Yu, Carlos Kynes, Charles Hernandez, and the Red Devil. Hernandez and the Red Devil were 2 laps down, and everyone behind Remy LeBeau was at least a lap down. Your non-finishers were Falstad, U-Cable, Rotak. In the driver's standings, look at that gap. 29 points, that's all it is between the top 2. Then it's Puff tied on points with Sebastian Ocampo. Then Remy LeBeau in 5th from Linus Erickson, and best of the rest is now Awful Catfish. Brilliant season for the rookie in Nicholas Palomino so far. All he has to do is get a win in these next 3 rounds to solidify that fantastic rookie effort we've seen so far. The Red Devil is 9th from U-Cable in 10th. He's only 1 point up on Oscar Falstad. Then it's Marcus Nelson, Francis Austin, Akari Lopez tied on points with Austin, Butler, Fabness Jr., Hernandez, Oinkro Ezra, Enoch Yu tied on points with Carlos Kynes, who is 1 point up on Lance Leclerc, and then Scattel and Rosak in 22nd. In the constructors standings, heading into Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's always great to return to the Samba country, isn't it? Well, DS Hyperdriver almost 100 points up on Red Bull Sims Porsche and are 100 points up on Panasonic Jaguar. Then it's Team Edams Renault, MS Amlin Andretti, Power Motorsport, Toyota Gazoo Racing, Pinnacle Racing, Mahindra Racing, Dragon Racing, and Mercedes EQ. Revo is having yet another career season so far. 170 points, 175 points on the season as a whole. And just look at those wins he's got. 6 wins on the season. It's not his best season in terms of wins, but I'm sure if he continues this form all the way to Vegas, he would have done it by quite some margin. You are Puff, by the way. Consistency is key. May have 3 DNFs and another 3 non-scores, but 3rd in the standings. Tied 3rd in the standings with Sebastian Ocampo, of course. Ocampo would actually win this on countback since he has 2 wins, but still, 113 points with less wins. Nothing to scoff at all. But from all of us here at Sparkplug Motorsports, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you guys next time then, when the ERL Formula E Series returns.
I just wanna dress and wine. I don't know what I would ever do, don't like to think about, cause I'm turning up the volume to 11 on the dial. You pay you more than any, you like money on my mind. Anytime I think about you, I just wanna dress and wine. I don't know what I would ever do, don't like to think about, cause I'm turning up the volume to 11 on it.